else you got?
Um, well, the other day I had a very interesting conversation with one of the patients I was visiting. And I ended up talking to Chaplain Grant a little bit about it. It went really well, but it was one of the veterans in the women's unit that suffered from MST and PTSD. And so I ended up spending a little bit more time talking to her than what I did with the other patients that I had for that day. I felt like I really encouraged her. I know she was talking about always feeling like somebody had something against her, especially her supervisor, and trying to be able to work through that process. And she has a Baptist background, and so we talked a little bit about that, and how and what and how God was in this whole process, and just a great conversation. Pretty much, she was just letting me know she's trying to learn how to trust him more in these areas, and trying not to feel like somebody's out to get her, and that was the big issue. And I asked her, well, was this caused to the MST and the PTSD? And she said yes, a little bit. And she also talked about the MST happened years ago before it became a highly discussed or looked at topic. And so she talked a little bit about not having somebody to go to at the time. But now she has a couple of friends that she can talk to and kind of work things out. And so she's kind of working on building relationships, but also working on her relationship with God, and how he plays a role in all this and everything. So,
what was your assessment of her?
She was she was dealing a lot with anger. So, and that just reflected on her reaction to her supervisor, because she told me her supervisor was a woman, and stuff. And so I just kind of asked her, I said, is the frustration due to everything that happened when you were in the Army, the MST and PTSD? And she said, yes, and that she's been kind of working on that. And so she ended up, she wasn't, how can I say it? She ended up walking in on her own, kind of thing. So she was a walk-in. So she said, I didn't, nobody told me to go. Nobody prescribed this to me. I was the one that chose to do this, because I just needed time to kind of self-manage what I need to, but also just time and space to be able to work out my own issues. So
what was her need?
Her need was just somebody to talk to that'll listen to her, that wouldn't judge her or put her in a certain category, but just listen to what she had to say. So.
And what was your intervention?
My intervention was, just actively listen to her, and just encouraged her by just letting her know that, because she brought up God and her relationship with God, just brought up the fact that she's a daughter of the King, and that God will never leave her or forsake her. And then the other thing I asked was if she had any buddy within the church that she went to or was connected to. Did she have any ladies or group of ladies that she's in connection with, that when she feels the anger and aggravation start to rise, that she can go call or have coffee with? And she said not really, but she's working on that. And so I just kind of encouraged her to kind of do that, because I know it always helps when you have somebody to talk to.
What was her faith tradition?
Baptist.
Right. So my concern is you telling her that God will never leave her or forsake her. I get what you're trying to do, but there may be a different way to do that.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to necessarily project, even though you all may share denominational belief.
Okay.
Her experiences are going to be different than yours. And so I would ask her, how have you experienced God never leaving you or forsaking you? Or does that have meaning for you?
Okay.
And can you identify how God is with you?
Okay. Well, I know I asked her those questions on how did she see God in all this, and she kept saying that it, it could be his way of letting her know that she needs to move from one job or try to look for another job and move, because I know there's been kind of a fear of wanting to move on to something different. But at the same time, she was referring to that because she let me know that 2 or 3 of her friends said maybe this is God's way of saying, hey, you need to move from this job and get another one, or maybe move someplace and start over or have new scenery, kind of thing. And so she said that, and she kind of brightened up a little bit, but there also was that fear of doing something new, because she's done this job for like 12 years. And so it's almost like she's gonna, if she moves to a different job, she's gonna have to start all over, kind of thing. And so I pretty much asked her, well, what do you think? If this is what you're telling me, what is God talking to you? Is he telling you that you need to move and do something new, or is this something where you feel like you need to stay because God could be doing something in the midst of all this kind of thing? And I just put that out there, but I let her kind of talk about it. And she was leaning more on going for something new than staying at this job. But still, there was, to me, it looked like she was still kind of thinking about that option. She wasn't sure on it yet.
How could you have used the material from our reading seminar in this encounter?
Well, I know the fear could be because she was projecting her past experiences onto this idea of starting something new. And so I could have talked a little bit about the, golly, I can't remember what it is. Taking herself out of where she's at, separating herself from where she's at, and putting herself into something new. And I also could have talked about fear. The fear she's facing is because she's projecting on her experiences that she's having right now. And those are causing her to not step out and do something new because of her past experiences. So
we don't know that for sure.
Right.
That's why we always can frame it as a question in which they can explore.
Yes.